Alright guys, this is going to be like an esoteric reading. It's not going to be for everyone. This is going to be about your soul contract. Um, so maybe it'll resonate, maybe it won't. Even if it doesn't, there might be something here you might find interesting. So if you don't resonate, you know, check out one of my playlists. You might find a reading there. They're timeless and you find them when you're meant to. But let's see what your soul contract might be if you resonate with this message. Okay. And starting with the Two of Cups. This is the nature of your soul contract. Alright? So for some of you, it's going to be like you're wanting to find your person. Okay? I talk about it a little more lately, but like usually I don't bring up like the twin flame connection because I don't like encouraging people to wait for relationships or people that, like, in general, especially a twin flame connection. But for some of you, this is about facing your younger self. All right, crossing this too is the Tower. This is about your main lesson. The Tower represents things that are unexpected. So there's something for you, I don't know, for some of you that are resonating with like a twin flame connection. You need to realize that you can't build a connection with someone else unless you can face your own self and reach that like higher level. The reason I don't really talk about the twin flame thing is because usually when people want to know about their twin flame or what they feel is a twin flame, I don't know if they're necessarily seeing it like, they see it as the perfect love, like they're missing puzzle piece, right? But usually the twin flame connection is one of the most difficult, okay? And the only way you're going to have that ideal twin flame connection is if the two people involved in that relationship have already reached a certain level of self-awareness within. So sometimes I see this Tower as like the home. Some of you could have abandonment issues or feel like, what's that saying, like where no place feels like home, or like you don't really have a home. You might feel like you're not from here, like the earth, okay, for some of you. But sometimes I see this like as the person's body, their mind, their spirit, feeling like things on the outside are constantly attacking them or making it so they can't get ahead. For like you take one step forward and you get pushed 10 steps back, things like that. All right, so there's something about your main lesson, all right, in this life having to do with how we handle the things outside of our control ultimately, and learning that the only thing we really can control is ourselves. And if you're resonating with that, there's something about either facing your younger self, healing that inner child, or not basing your happiness or like how things are going to affect you on the outside, like on the relationship you're in, if it's with another person, okay? All right. What you're already aware of is this Queen of Swords. So there's something about you having some sort of, you might be an air energy, or this has to do, or in your chart, but this has to do with this Queen of Swords. She is intelligent and she speaks, she thinks before she speaks. She realizes it's not what we say, it's how we say it, right? There's something to this energy, knowing when to like cut certain things off, okay? That might be the first step for you, if you're feeling this here, that you need to learn to trust yourself, to be open, actually, also I'm feeling, to learning new things, to not feeling like, oh, you know everything. I know everything about this because I read a paragraph, all right? So that resonates with someone. But this is like, for me, saying you're either at that point where you're learning or trying to figure out how to protect yourself, your energy, and also learning new things, being open to new information, understanding that there's so much more to learn. The second you feel you know everything, you're done, okay? You're done. You're never gonna learn everything. All right, the Six of Wands. This has to do with the work you still need to do. So this, I'm feeling two things, because I feel like this is gonna resonate with two different, like, vibrations of collective energies. Like, some of you need to learn that you don't know everything and be open. And some of you need to learn that to trust yourselves. Like, you don't trust yourself for what you know. Or you feel like people might, like, when you do try to share certain things, like, they don't see you for the intelligent energy that you feel you've worked really hard to create. And I'll say this now, if that is the case, those people aren't meant for you, all right? They're being rejected for a reason from your energy. So this is the Six of Wands, okay? So some of you need to deal with your ego. And if you're like, then yeah, you might have a little ego issue going on, and you might not understand what that means, all right? Because this is and for the other group of collective, this is about, like, you might shy away from attention, or you might feel like scared to share your voice and what you've learned because you think like people aren't going to appreciate you or they're not going to see. But this energy is saying two things to me. For some of the collective that resonates, this is about getting off your high horse. All right, that's the thing you have to face in order to continue on your path. And for others, this is about recognizing that you are great and not needing outside validation, okay, to recognize that. All right, and then we have a Ten of Swords. This is about the past healing that you've already accomplished. So the Ten of Swords is like an energy that feels betrayed. So there's something that you've worked on recently about forgiving, all right? Realizing that you're going to change the things you can, not worry about the things you can't change. Releasing that feeling of wanting revenge or feeling like you're owed something. Looking and seeing that only you can allow yourself to be affected by the actions or lack of actions from others, okay? Like, ultimately, no one can make you feel anything but you. Does that make sense? All right? I feel like this is something that either you needed to hear that's going to help along with this on your healing journey, or it's something you've already recognized, in which case, bravo. All right, the Six of Swords. This is the final step on the healing journey. And when, like, this takes place, you'll recognize or you'll see the signs that you're, like, on the right course towards understanding more about your path. This is about moving away from rocky waters and stress into the calm waters. This is an energy making a choice. Some of you actually have to move away, like you've already begun your awakening and planted the seed from what we saw here. And the final step will be when you physically move away from certain things. It starts with the mind. It starts how we talk to ourselves, all right? Then you start to feel it in your soul and your physical body. Once that happens, you will move away physically, okay? For some of you, this is saying a person is going to help you, all right? This person in the boat is like taking these energies away from all the chaos, all the heartache, going towards a new beginning where things are going to be smooth and calm. So for some of you, that is the final step, and when you'll recognize and start seeing like actual like little signals, and see everything kind of come and fall together for you, For some of you, this is physically moving away from possibly a relationship that you might feel is what we were saying before. But we have lots of soulmates, you guys. As far as I'm concerned, everyone you cross paths with on your journey is a soulmate. It's just there's different types of soulmates. And I'm sure if you do watch readings about twin flame karmic situations, they usually say just because someone is your twin flame doesn't mean you're meant to be with them in this life. Like, if this is representing that type of relationship for you, you might have to face some things about that. If you are beginning your healing journey and your counterpart is not, like, you're gonna have to, like if they're ready to get in the boat and move on to the next phase of awakening, awesome. But some of you on this path are gonna have to leave certain people behind. Soulmates, whatever they are to you. And if it's not talking about that, it's talking about facing our either shadow self or our younger self. Okay? All right, guys, that's what I'm seeing there. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments. Love you guys. See you next time.